Alright folks, Post here, welcome back to the Pomo Masters video, and today we're actually going to look at something that was posted on Reddit, I think a day ago. Well, it's probably going to be 2 days ago, once the video is actually released. But yeah, the user JR Underdash, is that what's called, Underdash? Hidalgo posted a post. They did a bit of a I guess sort of survey a while ago, and just on some feedback on the game, and they actually had a pretty comprehensive, report, a feedback report, which I thought would be, pretty interesting to look at. So, anyways, let's go ahead and, get into this then. So, they made a whole PDF with graphics, with table of contents. It's pretty comprehensive. It's a really sophisticated, at least for our standards, right? Pretty sophisticated feedback report. And yeah, let's go over it then. So basically, they were looking for feedback. They had some surveys on a lot of stuff. For stuff like the feedback towards a scout point system. The sync pairs, what people want. For sync pairs, most wanted evolution, which ones need a buff, all that stuff, skills, moveset, and then some battle stuff. Oh, we'll just go over the stuff that does have, I guess, higher quantities larger sample sizes, right? I'm not going to go over all the small, one-off suggestions and all that. We're basically going to go over a lot of the stuff that basically that had polls. It's easier to go through. Again, don't want to make this way too long. So anyways, let's get into this then. So, I think they had, this is by Josh Hidalgo. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. But yeah, credits to Josh for conducting all this. And let's get into the first point, which is feedback towards the current scout point system. So, scout point system, for those who don't know, every time you summon, you get set scout points, and then at 400, you get to pick whichever sync pair that you want from the banner. Like, DNA just kind of, it's like a pity system. Like, once you pulled like 400, scout points, and they're like, they feel bad for you, and then they just, let you pick whatever sync pair you want from the banner. So, looks like folks do probably want, okay, here's the thing. I don't know what the other suggestions are. Let's see if they talked about it. So basically, a lot of people feel it's a bit too much. 40k gems around that to get the max scout point, right? And so the major two on the suggestion list is, one is to make scout points universal across all banners, but keep it at 400, so it's still on 400, but they carry over to the next banner and stuff. And then the other suggestion is to reduce the number of scout points required per banner down from 400. And then there's other suggestions. Again, I don't think, is there any other popular suggestions? Okay, so no one really I'm not sure how they conducted this part, because I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure they didn't include an answer for the status quo, which is what we have right now. So we're going to ignore that. We're just going to, look at, for those who do want this system improved, how they want it improved, obviously. So 69.2% wants to make them universal across all banners, so you keep them at 400, which is still a lot. That's still 40k gems, but you could carry them onto other banners, right? So obviously that would be very, very useful if that is implemented. Would be much useful for getting units on Pokefairs, right? Which, even though on Pokefairs you do have higher 5-star rates, you don't have higher featured unit rates. They're still 2%, and obviously for Pokefair units, they usually just go away after the banner goes away, and we don't know when they come back, right? At least that's what it seems at the moment. So having Pokefair units to pick your, at least I guess, save the scout points for Pokefairs, I guess that's probably the best way to go if this system is implemented. It's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like the if you guys play Dokkan Battle, again, I just keep on making Dokkan Battle references, but in Dokkan Battle, the coin system, you know, every time you summon on a banner, a certain banner, then you get a certain amount of coins, and then you could, you know, you could save them up, and then, you know, at a certain amount of coins, you could exchange them for a unit, right, that is on a banner that's currently on, right? So, you know, it's 500 coins for an LR, 400 for a category lead. So over here it's 400, right? So sort of like that, right? And the other suggestion is to reduce, which only has 28.1% support, is to reduce the number of scout points required per banner down from 400. Let's see, how much do they want? So this, again, they're just taking, these are just quotes from people who, you know, obviously sent in feedback. It doesn't look like they have any, you know, they've set on any certain amount of points. But, I mean, again, 40k gems, 10k gems is definitely too low, right? So maybe 30k, 35k, I don't know. Again, I'm not developers. I don't know how this should be set. So moving on to the next set of data. So they did surveys on sync pairs that folks want in the game, and I'm actually surprised by the support of N. I obviously N's popular, but I didn't think N would be only like 2 points lower than Red. I think one of the influencing factors could be because everyone knows Red's coming to the game, basically, and there hasn't been too much promotional material for N in comparison to Red, so maybe that's the case for why N is so close to Red. Again, not trashing on N. Again, N has a lot of support, and rightfully so, right? But like, I just found it slightly surprising that it was only in, you know, lower than Red by 2%. So of course, Red number one, 26.2%. Surprise, and you know, looks like folks want him either with Charizard or Snorlax for some reason. But it seems like, you know, Charizard was the majority over here, right? So either Charizard or Snorlax, I guess. And then N folks want N with either Zoroark or Reshiram or Zekrom, either one. You know, some people prefer one, some people prefer the other, right? Obviously. And then the next one's actually Steven. Steven's own 13.4%, which also, like Red, is, I wouldn't say heavily promoted, but, you know, Steven's promoted. Like, Steven's on the title screen. Steven's, you know, he's around in the promotional material a lot, right? And then after that is May with Mudkip. The reason why people chose Steven's Metagross, obviously, right? May, the reason why people chose Mudkip for May, I would guess, is probably just because they want May to have a starter, and then Trico and Torchic are already picked. I would assume if Torchic wasn't with the main character, a lot of folks would want her with Torchic more, just because, I don't even know why, but a lot of people just seem to like her with Torchic. I think it's like it's an anime thing. But moving on, again, the game's not based on the anime, so that's kind of irrelevant. Moving on. The next one, 7.4%, is my favorite, personally, Sabrina and Alakazam. You know, nice to see her up here. But, you know, Sabrina also in the promotional material. She was in the trailer, right? Didn't show her a sync partner. So, you know, Alakazam, that's not really confirmed or whatever. What does a bold mean, actually? Just to make sure. Did they not talk about it? Yeah, I don't think they, bold indicates a clear majority, but okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, well, makes sense. Okay, never mind. Moving on. So the next one on the list is Marnie with Grimmsnarl, either Grimmsnarl or Morpeko, which makes sense, right? With Grimmsnarl, that's Marnie's, you know, Gigantamax, and then Morpeko is the one that she talks about a lot, and, you know, is, I would say, also pretty significant in her team, to say the least, right? I think Marnie's the only Sword and Shield character on this list at all, right? Moving on. Wally with Glade, because, you know, with Wally. Everyone loves Wally, right? Wally plus Gallade makes sense at 6.7%. Basically a tie with Dawn, also 6.7%, right? Dawn with either Turtwig, Togekiss, or Baneri. A lot of options for Dawn there, right? So yeah, those are the ones that made the list that folks want in the game. And then there's also some honorable mentions I threw in there: Zinnia Rayquaza, Lucas Turtwig, Growl Totera, Lily with Alolan Vulpix or Lunala. Surprised not to see Cosmog in there, but okay. Colorus with Kling Klang, so okay, makes sense, right? Apparently, of course, Red and still the more popular ones. Steven pretty popular, and some other popular characters. So I do wonder, after they kind of release all these, would they start recycling some of these characters, giving them sickness suits or whatever? Because it would be hard to imagine if once they go through all the extremely popular characters, not saying there's no more characters, obviously there's more characters, there's way more characters than the game could ever have in the game, right? Yeah, I wonder if they will then start recycling some of the more popular characters with signet suits, or would they wait until some later date to start recycling them, and they'll just keep on throwing out new characters. But I personally would hope for a mix. Once all these really popular characters are out, we'll keep on having new characters, but also bringing back some old characters with signet suits, like Blue or whatever, Blue Blastoise, something like that. With some other different Pokemon that folks want, right? Giovanni Rhydon, whatever. Anyways, moving on to the next set of data. So next one we looked at, or they looked at, I guess, evolutions for existing sync pairs. Apparently the majority of folks want, well, I wouldn't say majority, but the highest number over here is the player with Torchic at 31.2%. Makes sense. It's a starter. Folks like it. It's the main character. People do find some attachment to the main character, right? And then after that is Phoebe and Dusclops. I would say it's more so just because Dusclops is insanely powerful, right? That folks want it. Obviously, like me personally, I don't really care too much about Dusclops' evolution, because I guess I'm just more old school. I'm just more used to, and I did enjoy Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but I guess I'm just more used to Phoebe having Dusclops instead of Dusknoir, so I don't know. Moving on, the next one, Hilbert Oshawott again. Decent 5-star. Oh, actually, pretty great 5-star. Again, I still think people underrate him a bit. And also, the starter, folks like that. Roxy, Whirlipede, it's probably the folks who want a really strong, I wouldn't say really strong, but, a decent poison striker, right? So that makes sense. We don't really have one at the moment. And then Roxanne Nosepass, just because, I don't know, or not Roxanne. Yeah, Roxanne Nosepass. Either because folks like Roxanne, or, again, Nosepass, really, really good character. They want that. Number 6, Callum Esper. One of the weaker units in the game, but, again, it's a main character. Folks like main characters. So there's that. Moving on, Rourke and Krandos. Yikes, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I personally would like to see it, the evolution, right? But Krandos, not the strongest. Not sure if Rourke's that popular of a character either, but hey, maybe folks like Rayquaza, which is fine, and Krandos, right? Moving on, Brock and Onyx, and then Lieutenant Surgeon Voltorb, and then Maylene, and I'm actually slightly surprised by this one. I would thought Maylene and Meditite would be much higher, just because, first of all, Meditite's really, really good. Maylene and Meditite, they're really, really good. And Medicham also has a Mega Evolution, which I would assume folks liked. Which I personally, I don't know. Medicham's Mega Evolution is okay, I guess. But, again, really, really good unit. I probably would have thought this would be higher. I probably would have thought Krandos would be slightly lower. I mean, Callum being this high makes sense, I guess. But, I don't know. And everything else seems more or less what I thought would happen. Not what I would prefer, but what I would think folks would prefer. But again, didn't expect Meditite to be so low. Moving on, which sync pairs need a buff? Again, Pokemon Masters don't really directly buff units, right? Doesn't really happen too often. So let's go over the units that folks thinks need a buff. Number 1. with an overwhelming majority, 63.8% is Acerola and Palisand. I mean, Acerola kind of has use now, playing a role in a Cynthia team. But, I could see, well, I mean, it definitely could get a buff, but, it's a tech unit. And it's tough to say how to buff tech units, right? The next one, Glacia and Glalie, that's definitely a prime target to buff as well. And then Lance and Dragonite, again, I don't think Lance and Dragonite is as bad as people say, right? And in a proper team comp, Lance and Dragonite could do a lot of damage, right? Really quickly as well, especially in neutral stages, right? But sure, he could get some help. Maybe, again, the moves, if you're not in an organized comp, Lance is kind of lackluster, right? Unfortunately, so maybe something to make Lance more sustainable alone, right? Or, just in random comps. Actually, Calma and Esper was higher than Lance on that list, but, one of the weaker units as well. I would say weaker. I would personally say Calma and Esper is weaker than Acerola. But maybe folks just like Acerola better. I don't know. Moving on to the last one, Hilbert and Oshawott. I completely disagree. I think Hilbert and Oshawott is fine. I think they're really, really good. I don't think they need a buff at all. Moving on, which 4-star sync pairs need a buff? Lorelei Lapras. Lapras is just so bad, man. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So yeah, that makes sense. Erica Vileplume. I personally like Erica a lot and Vileplume, right? Unfortunately, they're not that great either. Viola and Surskit, I'm sort of surprised. I mean, Viola and Surskit aren't terrible. It's just that there really aren't any stages that you could use Surskit, right? So I'm not sure about this one. Winnie and Milk Tank is that they're not too great, unfortunately. So yeah, they would really need a buff. Roxy and Whirlipede, they're okay. Agatha, Gengar, I think they're okay. Drake and Salamence would really need a buff. I'm surprised Drake and Salamence isn't higher because I know Drake's a really popular character, and Salamence is a really, really popular Pokemon. It's a legendary. So legendaries are just popular, right? And Drake and Salamence are just bad. So I would have expected this to be slightly higher, but apparently not. Moving on, 3 stars. Number 1 in this ranking, Barry and Piplup. This one's a given. This is obviously, the first one, and should be the first one. Because Empoleon's awesome, and Empoleon is just terrible in this game, unfortunately. So, Barry and Piplup getting a buff would be much, much welcome. Even though, again, the game doesn't generally do buffs. Second one was Mina and Gramble, which I didn't really see coming. I mean, they're not too great, obviously. The buff would be nice, but I didn't think they would be that popular to rank so high up here, right? Signature Brock and Tyranitar. Yeah, they could definitely use a buff. I mean, Brock and Tyranitar's like halfway there, right? So, they don't need too much to be actually pretty decent. Moving on, yourself and Pikachu. Again, a lot of people like the main character. This one makes sense as well. Pikachu, not too great. Iris and Haxorus, same thing. I would have expected Iris and Haxorus to be higher because, they completely disrespecting a champion. Although, again, it's not her, champion clothing stuff, but, still, come on. Habu Mudstill, this probably got bumped up because of the recent Solgaleo event that people remembered that Hapu and Mudstill still exists in this game. So there's that. Brock and Onyx, makes sense as well. Cherry and Blissey, I guess she could use a buff. Ramos and Weeping Bell, these all make sense at the bottom. Again, no one really uses any of these, right? Unfortunately. I mean, Habu and Mudstill, I guess, for this event, but aside from this event, right? And then the other ones also make sense as well. So moving on, let's go over some other stuff. Again, this is mostly they're just asking for quotes and individual feedback, which I'm not really gonna go over, right? Because that's just extremely variable. Battle features. So some folks want not very effective mechanic. That's fine, right? Increase use of weather support in the battle. Many of the skills require a certain weather state, but a viable strategy cannot be achieved yet, I guess. Co-op farming for, it said 8 items, but, proper language. I don't know what the proper language is. It's just level cap items, right? Because 8's only the tech, the tech level cap items, right? So, yeah, I actually never thought about this one, ever. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about all this stuff. Battle emotes. I never thought this was too much of a problem. Average usefulness. Usefulness? I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? Like, basically disrupt, attack, defend, and strengthen, and heal. These are all extremely useful when fighting NPCs. And these are, I mean, maybe sync move ready. Sometimes people use that, but, you know, these are completely useless. But I don't, let's see these. Disrupt him is only at 4. What? Yeah, I'm not sure I really agree with this. What's the highest one? Sorry? Okay. Second highest one? Nice. Okay. Yeah, no. These are pretty useless. These are extremely useful. Obviously, these you could use these to control NPCs. You could use these to control your teammates who are on auto, right? Extremely helpful for soloing a lot of the EX challenges, or, you know, I guess co-op battles in general, right? Yeah, I'm not sure that I want to go too much into this one. Which battle emotes do you suggest we add to improve co-op communications? Attack right, left, or center. That would be really, really nice, right? So you don't have to actually target someone and then use the emote, and then you go back and then go back and forth between targeting and using emotes, right? That would be really nice. Follow what I'm doing, keep it up. Ability to have shortcut emotes. I'm not sure this. I mean, what even this? How? I don't get this. Like, exact same moves or movesets, or does it mean, you know, if we're attacking, they're attacking as well. We're defending, whatever defending means, because there really isn't much defending in this game. They're defending as well if we're disrupting. I guess maybe it's that when we're healing, they're healing as well. I don't know. Seems like it. Anyways, moving on, current thoughts on co-op. Let's just not go over too much of this. Again, this is just taking quotes from folks. Obviously, people have a lot of opinions on all of this stuff. All right, moving on. Mission rewards, feedback towards daily rewards. Improve rewards over a 7-day period by giving you either more of the current rewards, or change those rewards to those which are harder to obtain, such as gym leader notes, the plus bottles, elite 4 notes, or replay tickets. Increase the 7-day period to 30 days, where closer to the 30th day offers really good. I mean, more free stuff is. I'm pro free stuff. That's cool, I guess. Feedbacks for battle rewards. People complain about the drop rate for 2-star gear is extremely low, especially for the amount of effort. I mean, I'm not sure I really disagree, or not disagree. I don't think I really agree with this one. I mean, sure, they could lower, or not lower, that would be terrible, increase the rates for 2-star gear drops, but, like, the amount of effort really isn't that hard anymore. Like, it used to be, you know, when the game first came out, it was extremely hard to beat, you know, a lot of co-op challenges, but really not anymore, honestly. Like, I think all but 2 of the EX co-ops, and, you know, one of them being EX Karina, which is completely useless, right? You don't need to do that at all. So basically, there's only, like, 1 EX that you can't auto. Like, you can auto all the other ones. So I'm not sure pressing 1 fight again button every 5 minutes or so, maybe not that long, you know, 3 minutes or so, is really that much effort. So, not sure about that. Anyways, moving on, thoughts on gem structure. So some folks, I guess a slight majority wants them to combine the paid and freeze into just one currency. I don't really care about this one personally. I don't have a strong opinion on this one. I mean, it'd be cool if they combine them, but I just don't know if they're willing to give out. I could see both sides of this. Obviously, you combine them, you know, if they still have the current system where, you know, it's still 100 gems for a daily pull, and you could use free gems with those, that would be awesome, obviously, but it's just, I don't know if they're going to maintain a lot of these discounts if they do merge them, so who knows. Anyways, moving on, is there any other stuff? New bingo system, clan guild implementation. Would Pokemon Masters be better with a clan guild system implemented? 54.9% says yes, 45.1% people say no. I'm surprised. I thought yes would be like overwhelming, but apparently it's pretty close. I don't know. I think it would be cool, personally, but I don't know. Apparently some people don't want it. What's some of the no's? Is there any no's against? Oh, no. If it splits the community in sections that will compete with each other, limiting rewards if you're on the wrong sides. Well, we don't really know about that, right? That's not explicitly said. Or obviously there's no mention of co-op at all. Like so I mean it's potentially happen, I guess. There's no real reason to have a clan system, as Pokemon Masters does not have a clan versus clan type content. I mean, you could still have a clan system and not have any competing, factors, right? You could just have like basically a PvE kind of clan thing. You could have, guild bosses, whatever. You could have guild rewards, guild missions that gives you stuff, right? It's not, you don't have to make it. Obviously, the game's not PvP. It's never going to be PvP, right? So there's a lot of, PvE guild/clan stuff that could happen, right? So yeah, I don't know about that. Anyways, so game mode ideas. Yeah, these are probably way too long, and also personally don't really care too much to delve into. I'll leave a link to this stuff in the description if you guys want to check out the PDF for yourselves. So anyways, I think this is the last one. Why do you continue to play Pokemon Masters? 379 responses. The number one is I love the Pokemon theme. That's obvious, right? Like it's an overwhelming majority, even in this, rather, I would say this is too small for Reddit, a Reddit survey, right? And it's a decent, okay-ish sized, sample size, right? 68% say I love Pokemon theme, and obviously this is multiple choice, right? I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know if there's any language about it, but I'm pretty sure this is. But 68% say I love the Pokemon theme. Makes sense. And then a lot of people say the game itself has potential, which is, I would agree with that, I guess. What is this? I have hope that the developers will improve the game based on player needs. Okay, that's possible. What else? Nostalgic reasons. Like the idea of being to use characters alongside Pokemon. That would be me. 0.5% never played Pokemon, but the game is fun. Okay, cool. Wow. Never knew folks like these actually play the game, but hey, welcome. That's pretty cool. Game mechanics are fun. That's these are just under, again, a lot of these are just under 50%, right? Not that the 50% mark matters at all, right? In this, this way of sampling, right? Game design is fun. Story and character aspect. Oh, I thought more people would like this, because I keep on getting comments asking for more stories, so I always assume that folks actually like the story. I like the story. I thought it was pretty cool. I really like the characters. If I were to pick, obviously, Pokemon thing, maybe nostalgic, I guess. This, and this, for the most part. Maybe this as well, right? But yeah, I like a lot of the characters. Rosa, right? I never liked Rosa before. Honestly, I never liked Rosa before this game, and Pokemon Masters really made Rosa a really extremely likable character. So, anyways, that's me for this one. Thanks to, sorry, I can't remember names. I'm terrible at that. Josh Hidalgo for conducting this, research/survey, whatever. What's the official term? The feedback, or no, this is the feedback report. What's the original? Did they call it a survey? Did they call it I don't even know, but report. Okay, cool. So anyways, again, thanks to Josh for conducting this. You guys could check out the report, and I'll put the Reddit post in the description down below. And anyways, again, let me know what you guys think about all this stuff in the comments down below. Like and enjoyed this video. So if you're new to the channel, you can join our Discord to chat about Pokemon Masters and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.